My name is Josue Figueroa, and I am the Director of Social Enterprise for MCC Manitoba. Basically, overseeing the financial sustainability of our thrift shop network in Manitoba, as well as the youth program at Sam's Place, and of course the financial sustainability for that enterprise as well. Since we were talking about strategies, and you're immersed in all of these different groups and members and that.
I've got fingers in all kinds of communities.
Yes. So what strategies have you seen in other social enterprises that you think could potentially work well for us?
Let's say Sam's.
Because I have more control over that.
And I'm more familiar with it.
Yes.
So coffee shop is in a way entertainment. It's in a way, it's a place outside the office, but still not home. So that third place. What's the goal we're working towards? Because we can't define a strategy without a goal. So what is the thing that we want to grow, or the thing that you want to see more of at Sam's?
Beyond the program, I would say we want to establish our name in this community. But I want people to know that you're getting a good quality cup of coffee. You have a space where you can come, chill, work.
Yeah.
But behind all of that, you being in this space supports all of the graduates that come out of the program. So the goal is to grow our impact, but also to grow the business.
Yep.
And it's a delicate balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when it comes to building support for the impact and the business at the same time, there's not very much literature out there about social impact marketing for social enterprises. There's a lot more about big companies and ESG, or if they're trying to amplify a specific campaign that involves an environmental or social impact. There's less so about social enterprises themselves. At least I haven't seen it. So if the viewers can recognize something that I haven't seen yet, please send it to me. But I'm imagining there's probably small ways that are unobtrusive, that don't feel pushy, that you could introduce people to the idea of what's happening here behind the scenes.
Okay.
I know just after you grab the coffee, you turn around and there's the sugar, the milk, cream lids for the takeaway cups. But there's not very much there in terms of decoration. The rest of this place is bright, colorful. It's got meaning dripping behind everything. And that space is a little cubby that everyone's going to go to, but doesn't have anything that represents that. What if you put little tiny cards that are the success stories? One a month, just somebody's picture, how long they were in the program, and what they've been able to do since. Could that help to give people an opportunity to see, oh, this is what it's about. This is why this happens the way it does.
Yeah.
I imagine you could also, once every 2 or 3 months, have a little event of, let's say, career fair.
Yeah.
I mean, the dialogue all around is it's hard to find good workers right now.
Yeah.
Companies all over are struggling to find people that are reliable, that are going to stick around, especially in entry-level work.
Right.
And that's what your training program is building towards. It's helping people get their first job, get into a career, get from not being employed to having employment that they can keep long-term.
Right.
So what if you held a career fair during work hours where you have 4 or 5 recent graduates of the program who have not yet landed their next job? Invite the managers of cafes. So then it's visible, it's in the shop, it's open, but you can have them go, I want you to meet this person.
Yeah.
They're going to be a great worker. They've been great for us.
I like that.
And it facilitates the impact you're trying to do, in that the people going through the program can be connected with people who are interested in hiring. It bypasses a lot of the nonsense that happens with online applications, because like we were talking about with thrift stores, if you have a relationship, things move on trust, where otherwise it wouldn't happen.
Right.
And so if you can build those relationships with other employers who are working in a similar industry, you can become more than competitors and instead be collaborators.
I love that. I hadn't thought about that job fair idea or that particular spot.
Yeah.
We do have plans. There's a big blue wall in the back.
Oh yeah.
That's where we were hoping to feature all of our program highlights.
Right.
And people may see it, may not. You're putting out the dirty dishes there. But to your point, that's a very high traffic area.
Yeah.
You almost
And everyone's going to have a moment, whether they're filling up a cup of water or if they're just putting a lid on a cup. If they see something, they can pause for 10 seconds and it's not in the way.
Yes.
No one's going to be feeling like
that.
they're obtrusive, and it's not going to feel pushy on them. Because I love how the minimalist design of the rest of the space, it leaves spaces for these quilts, which represent a lot for MCC, to really pop. And I wouldn't want to pull away from that. Because to me, that's a core part of the design philosophy of the space.
Yes, it is. It definitely is.
So that's on the impact side. Trying to bring in new business, I would look at what's happening in the surrounding area, what causes moments of traffic, especially foot traffic. I heard that today there was a Bike Winnipeg event where they're setting up coffee stalls.
Yes.
Could you set up a coffee stall on waterfront? A beautiful place to bike through, has bike paths separated away from the road in the park. Could you show up there? Have people taste what you can do? Have people see that you are here now? Because anytime you move, you have to reconnect with 100%. Everyone. Because only the truly committed will look it up and go, oh, where are they now?
Yes.
Otherwise, it looks like you closed. You have to rebuild that new audience.
We still had the sign on the other one for like months after we moved in. So I see your point.
So that could be one angle. Maybe you could, for corporate meetings, because we're in the Exchange, lots of big corporate offices are within walking distance. Do you have takeaway cardboard bag containers that could be for meetings? Like small scale coffee catering. What would it take to do that and start offering it to the local businesses? What if you were to show up once with that and say, here, this one's for you. No charge, just leave it at reception, say, here, free coffee for the office, just to let you know we're in the neighborhood.
And who we are.
Exactly. A little thing on the side, say, coffee with impact. Maybe on one of the sides you have one of those cards we were just talking about for the impact. So say, this is what we're about, this is why we're here, and they get to taste the coffee. You have to have proof of good service, of good quality product.
100%.
In any social enterprise, we can't give up quality.
No, 100%.
If somebody comes in for the mission and says they're doing such a great thing, and then they have an awful experience, no one's coming back. No. You have to win with quality first, and then show that in addition to good quality product service, there's good behind it.
You're making a difference. We just celebrated 1 year. So there's a lot of new information. I'm gathering data,
You finally have a baseline.
I have a baseline, and I'm able to see, for example, on average, how many transactions I'm getting. What's the busiest day of the week? What's the busiest time of the day? All of these things, right?
Which months are busy? Which months are slow?
I mean, you can make assumptions, right? Like we didn't have a patio at Henderson. We have a patio now here. I'm like, okay, it's going to be super, super busy, and it was busy, but not as busy as I thought it would be. Now our weather was all over the place, but So one of the things that we're trying is we're opening up late. And featuring a couple of drinks, and test some of this. And this goes back to my advice. Try something. If it's calculated risk, and if it paid off last year when we ran it, our sales were really good, and there was a lot. We just need a couple of people behind the bar, but everybody was touring, looking at the lights and whatever. It's like, oh, this place is open. We'll grab coffee. So.
But now even beyond that, for something like Nuit Blanche, it is art focused. That is their reason for being. How could you tie that in here? Could you get a local artist who can't get another venue, do a one-day show during Nuit Blanche?
That's a good idea.
Be a pin on the map for an event. A reason to show up beyond it's a coffee shop and it's open.
I like it.
Because then the event itself wants to promote you, because promoting you is promoting them. Building those mutual elements, those opportunities for mutual promotion, mutual growth, and aligning the incentives for everyone to say everyone wins. If a local artist can't necessarily do a gallery show, if they're not established enough, this can be a great way on Nuit Blanche, a big event, to start having exposure in the Exchange, which is an artsy district of the city. Stuff happens here. Being exposed to those people in this place matters.
Totally.
And so it'd be a win for the artist. It'd be a win for Nuit Blanche. Another venue is signing on. More people, more things for people to visit on that day. And it's a win for you because you'll be open as a coffee shop. More people will see what you're up to and taste what you're doing.
Switching gears. Angles a little bit. I'm going to thrift.
Yeah.
Because one of our broader strategic objectives is climate change. I see thrift as a big piece of that because we are, in many ways, extending the life of a lot of these products that otherwise would go to the landfills, right? What are the opportunities there, both in marketing and maybe something you've seen in other places that will work or translate to thrift?
Yeah, we actually did a business plan for a local thrift store that was going from very small scale online only, like they would receive, part of their work was they would receive donations and they would distribute it.
Okay.
So they wanted to take the donations that didn't match the population that they were serving. Could they sell those? And so I was called in to do a feasibility and business plan for this group. And one of the angles we looked at was the environmental sense, because the use of secondhand goods is a core pillar to reducing our environmental impact as individuals.
Yes.
It's buy less. If you have to buy secondhand. If something is broken, fix more of it. And
recycle, repurpose.
All of this fits in together. But if you haven't marketed to them, why would those people come to you? Unless they already know, and like some subset of that population becomes your champion. If that doesn't exist, you need to give them a reason to show up.
Yeah.
And so we looked at, because thrift has a couple different archetypes, I'll say.
Okay.
You've got the people that are there looking for the cheap deals on things that are underpriced for their value.
Yep.
They're trying to find it either for themselves to collect or to resell.
Yep. Resellers. Yeah.
Yep.
We know them.
It always exists, and it's absolutely fine.
Oh, 100%.
They're helping to filter through, and you're still getting the revenue that you expect from the item. No problem. There are the treasure hunters who are like, I want to find an antique. I want to find something that I can give to my kids.
Right.
That has already lasted 80 years and will last 80 more.
Yeah. Totally.
And then you have the environmental seekers. So you can't put together marketing that appeals to all three of those groups at the same time. And that's without counting the discount seekers, the people who are just trying to find cheap things so that they can live.
I was just going to say there's one more
Yeah.
Customer there, yeah.
And so all of these groups have vastly different goals with what they want out of things. There's some overlap because the treasure hunters and the environmentally focused people, they're both looking for things that'll last. Good quality things that they can reuse or that will last a long time. There might be an overlap between environmental and deal seekers where they're trying to extend their budget. They're trying to find ways that are, without being too expensive, be environmentally friendly. Because in almost every other area, like environmentally conscious clothing, it's gosh darn expensive.
Yep.
Because it costs more to get the materials, to buy it from somebody who made it locally. Because labor costs more in North America.
Yep.
So you won't ship it from Bangladesh.
Yeah.
You're gonna pay $30 a shirt or more. You have to tailor the marketing in a different way or find the places where they're already going to be. I've seen other thrift shops use pop-up shops in other aligned stores. So let's say there's an environmentally conscious shop. Could you have a corner of their store where you pop up for a week, making an event? It's going to depend on who the specific audience is within that, because there's a lot of different kinds of audiences that fit within environmentally conscious.
If climate change is one of our objectives
that you want to be doing impact towards mitigating that,
right? And I'm thinking of those pieces that you're saying, well, lack of awareness, you know, like, so, and there's overlap on how all these four groups, certainly that one that's really conscious about that, that they don't want to, you know, they know how much water takes to like build a pair of jeans, right? Like, so I'm interested in what can we do to like even tap to just that one group, right? Like,
okay, this is off the top of my head, unresearched, so grain of salt.
Sure.
What if, I know you mentioned earlier that there are some clothes that are not suitable for sale.
Yeah.
And often that'll go to fabric recyclers. If I understand the industry properly, like it doesn't necessarily feel like it fits the environmental desire for the clothes that are perhaps too dirty to put out on the shelves. What if there was a bin of textile for repurposing, not intended to be used in its current form, but as material to make new things? Could that fit the target goal of appealing to the people who are often reusers, who are handicrafters.
Yes.
That's one of the potential angles we could look at.
So a couple comments on that, because there's very creative folks in our shops that will have those skills.
Yeah.
Either with textile, we've seen it really beautifully done with furniture, with metal. That's not something that's there in every shop.
Right.
And in terms of like the textile recycling, it's a very interesting conversation, because we're in the middle of these two big projects of research with two universities, one in Alberta and one in Saskatchewan, where they're looking at all that over the next 4 years. Because we don't have, from the government, we don't have any guidelines on how to treat this fabric once it's, like you see it very well done in Europe, in places like Italy, where they will like treat this fabric, repurpose it, and in some cases they'll sell it to these big designers, and it's terrific, Some of them are social enterprises too, so.
I actually saw an example of this. I was in Amsterdam for Social Enterprise World Forum last year, and I got the opportunity to tour Phoenix. They're also often a secondhand store. Like that's their big outward-facing purpose.
Yeah.
They managed to get a location just before the dump, so like people could just turn off from the road to the dump and just drop it for them, anything that was still usable.
Yeah.
Fantastic plan. In one of their shops, they had essentially in every corner, they had a repurposing workshop. They had a clockmaker that was taking apart old clocks and watches and rebuilding them. In one corner, they had an electronics workshop.
Yes.
Where they were tearing apart and fixing old electronics so that what people thought were busted, broken, irreplaceable, like needed to be replaced, not fixable, they take a look at it and go, okay, we need to fix these 3 solder points and it's good to go. Still useful, extends the life of the product. And in one corner, they had a textile workshop. They had industrial washing machines, and they were doing a sewing workshop where people come in, they learn sewing skills, and they use the old material that wouldn't have been fit for sale, and they turn it into new product.
Matthew, this is fascinating. And I think it really comes down to how do we bring the awareness. This is already happening in our shops.
Is it?
But we have these stations way behind the scenes.
Oh, and in this case, like you could look through the counter as if it was its own little retail store, and you just see them tinkering away.
We have those volunteers in our shops, like they're fixing the stuff and they're testing it. Yeah. It's like, and interesting. Yeah.
If you think about it more as what does it represent for the organization? How can we show what we're doing?
Yeah.
That's really an opportunity, especially if you already have the people with the knowledge and that are willing to give their time to do it. Because if people can see that things can be rebuilt, I think that is a potential angle.
We'll have to talk more about this.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm already thinking of a couple of locations where we could do some sort of an audit, an assessment, and if we partner up with you, for you to come in and see, because once again, you work with the folks that want to work with you, right? But if some of that's already, if we have some of those people already doing the work.
Finding the people is the hardest part.
Yeah, and if, I'm one of the managers that we have, oh man, she's just so good. She's been so good. And she's talk about taking calculated risks, and it's paying off. I mean, National Thrift Shop Day, we just had that August 16th, and she went all out. Partnered up with CHBN, and had a big thing, and it's just been so good. So I want to tap more into that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to summarize, I think the way to appeal to people, especially in light of climate change and the environmental pressures, the stresses that people are feeling that are around this issue, the more visible you can make the efforts you're already doing. Just show the work you're already doing. And make it accessible. Because if people can see, oh, this doesn't look impossible. I could do that. One, you'll bring new people into that line of thinking, and you'll appeal to the people that are already there. Because the more that they can see and show others, the easier it makes their advocacy. Because if they're feeling that stress, they're more likely to be advocates around it. How can you connect with them on that emotional policy, all of that jumbled up
connection?
How can we individually do work? How can organizations do work? How does it all fit together in a system? The more you can show it in, especially in authentic ways you're already doing it, the easier it's going to be.
That's great. Yeah, I think so. Awesome. Thank you, Matthew.
You're welcome.
This has been great.